Hi, happy Hanukkah. Welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the BI Rabbi. I'm Rabbi Adam Stein. You know, when I work with wedding couples, I'm often explaining different parts of the wedding ceremony to them, including the sort of pre-wedding ceremonies, the different rituals that happen before the ceremony itself. One of them is called the Kabbalat Panim, and it means sort of welcoming the face or greeting the face. Or actually, Panim is a plural word, even though it means face, so it could mean faces. And so I tell them it could mean that the guests, especially women traditionally, but women or men, are greeting the beautiful face of the bride. Or you could turn around and say the bride is greeting the faces of her family friends around her. And I was reminded of that this week when I was doing some reading and research about this week's Torah portion with Joseph. And he has these interactions back and forth with his brothers. We're in Genesis 43, 44. His brothers don't yet know that he's Joseph. They just think he's the deputy prime minister of Egypt, or the assistant pharaoh, and they're trying to get some food from him because of a famine in Canaan. And he says, go back to where you live, and then he plants a goblet in their backpacks. He accuses them of stealing, and they come back and forth, and then he says, bring me your brother. He wants to see his youngest brother, Benjamin. And he says at one point, do not come back. This is verse 4 or 5. If you don't come back with your little brother, then you will not see my face again. So again. You do not see my face, or I will not see your faces. Okay, and so it makes me think of these different instances when we have that sort of language. And the great scholar, modern scholar at University of Pennsylvania, Michael Karasik, was sharing this week some research about this. He did a great translation of Mikra Gedolot, the classic book of medieval commentaries on the Torah, and he brings up several instances of this. So Genesis 43, 44, unless your youngest brother comes with you, do not let me see your face. And then Judah repeats that in his speech to Joseph. But you also have it with Moses. There are all these interactions between Moses and God. You see me face to face, or Moses spoke with God face to face, but then God says, no one can see me face to face and live. And so it's a little confusing. Can we see God's face or not? But that's a different thing, seeing God's face. Here we're talking about people seeing each other's faces. There's something in Samuel, there's something in Kings, but I want to bring up a comment now from one of my professors not in rabbinical school, but way back in my undergraduate studies in San Diego, University of California, San Diego. Professor William or Bill Propp is still there teaching Bible and Hebrew. He taught my Hebrew classes, he taught some Bible classes I had, and he's one of the foremost scholars in the book of Exodus. He spent 10 years researching, writing his anchor Bible commentary on the first half of Exodus, and another 8 on the second half. So Michael Karasik brings up Professor Propp's commentary, and he says, I will see your face no more. He says it's problematic because, and this is talking about Moses and Pharaoh actually, when Pharaoh says, you will see my face no more. Actually, Moses, I think, says it to Pharaoh. If you don't let my people go, you're not going to see my face anymore. I'm not going to come here anymore. And the problem is that they do see each other a couple of chapters later. And Propp says he favors Barbanel's approach. Barbanel, a great scholar in medieval times in Spain, I believe. And he says that seeing the face is a special idiom, meaning to wait upon and have an official audience. So I'll just say one more thing about this, relating to my professor, William Propp, and seeing the face. In a class I had with him years ago, I did a research paper, I still remember this, on one of the early commandments in the Ten Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. No other gods al panai, literally on my face. So what does this mean, on my face? We translate it as no other gods at all, But what does it mean to have no other gods before my face? Does it mean to not worship other gods in front of me, God, or not worship any other gods at all? Or you can acknowledge that there are other gods that other people have, but you shouldn't worship them. And so I used some early Bible software. Now this stuff has advanced many years, but this was early stuff. I had to go to the library to use it on a computer there, and to look up all the other instances of al panai, upon my face. What I have to do now is look up Professor Propp's commentary, because he said he liked my research in the paper so much that maybe he'd use it in his own commentary. So I should see if he cited me. Anyway, I just want to wish all of you a wonderful Hanukkah and a good Shabbat. And as we enter the last few days of Hanukkah, let's allow the light from the Hanukkah candles to help us see the face or the faces of our friends, our family, our community members, and even a few strangers around us. Shabbat Shalom and Hanukkah Sameach.